gets there. Right then, so in the bottom left part of the map, spawning from with the Zerg pieces in the blue, it is our GM player hanging out with us in the show matches today, SLeet.
Yeah, got the fancy camera work going today. And up in the top center portion of the map, it looks like, from Team Strat K, we have our Terran player, LeGeND.
I almost feel like if this gets put in the map pool, they'd want to restrict the way you can spawn a little, because like if you spawned next to each other, you could scout like 4 times in the wrong direction and just get there at like 6 minutes. You're like, oh, you're forgetting. Oh, god damn it.
Yeah.
But,
so SLeet's pointing out the ramps at the main. They just look really long to me. Like, do they seem a little bit longer than the normal ramps to you? Or is it just, it's deceiving me because of the layout of the map?
I think it's a... you might actually be right.
It might be an optical illusion.
I'm looking at the other... No, they're not. They're fine. If they are, it's maybe a hex difference. It's kind of interesting. I've never thought about what that would do. And yeah, the players commenting on this right now, none of them have played on this either, so we're all getting kind of a first look at this map, and decent. The choke size doesn't seem weird. The third bases are a bit choky though, so like this is going to be fun for Protoss, actually. This is going to be a good force field map, most likely.
Definitely. It does look like some of the older Brood War large 6 and 7 player maps, where you'll have very large base areas for your main, your natural, your third, but they all get wrapped down into these really tight choke points. There will be 2 or 3 of them per base, but they're still really tight, very defensible chokes. So it looks like this SCV is actually going to get the scout off on the first bit, and the Overlord that was first sent out by SLeet is also going to get the first peek on the Lucky Guess Go. Wow, so, Lucky Guess Go.
So pretty much they're getting more or less optimal scout numbers on that, which is gonna be fine. They're both gonna get over there and discover that in fact nothing weird is happening. Definitely from SLeet's perspective, he's expecting this fast expand. He probably doesn't even have to send the Overlord over there to actually check it. He will, but he was telling us before, this LeGeND he loves mech. That's what he does. Loves mech a lot. The question really is he going to go standard play, or is he going to go for a hell battle? That's something that he has to watch for. Banshees are also a thing that pops up every now and again. So, it's like, wait, how did you do that? He's like, I saw the Overlord. He's like, damn it.
Yep. And LeGeND actually went for a bunker at the natural SLeet. SLeet threw down a spine crawler, and then the bunker was canceled, and just now the spine crawler was canceled. So both these players kind of messing with each other a little bit.
Just wants to send a message. You don't mess with me. By the way, 4 links coming up to do some return damage. They're definitely going to be able to be a little annoying here if they want. But it looks like for now, yeah. And there comes the micro battle. Little stutter stepping from the Marines here is going to take out one of them. He's actually maneuvered him back into the corner. Now he can run up for the scout. There's no complete wall off up here, so he sees the factory. Probably isn't too surprised by that. What he really should actually get up here and see in just a moment is the lack of a second gas, which will tell him that he's probably not looking into going into Banshees anytime soon, because the gas cost for those is a little bit too intense.
Yeah, he's going to lose both of these Zerglings, but he does get a good scout off. And seeing that second gas is in there actually gives a lot of information to the Zerg player. Looks like the wall's finally built using 2 factories and a barracks for LeGeND, so definitely using the advantage of the larger buildings to kind of give him a mobile front where he can pick up those buildings and move them out of the way if he absolutely has to. Third base going down for SLeet as well.
Okay, so he's going again on the assumption that his opponent is going for mech, especially now that he's actually scouted the setup. That, no, noticing how far away his third is. He's trying to spread out, create to it as fast as he can. Doesn't sound like he's too particularly happy about it. Might hear some noise in the background. I do have family over here right now. Well, I'll try and mute it if it get a little bit too crazy, but no guarantees I'll be perfect on that.
That's right. That's what happens when you cast these kind of games out of your home. I mean, things happen. Like yesterday, my doorbell just rang in the middle of a game.
It happens. So, you know, like, I don't know, I keep looking at this, the mini-map, and I keep thinking it resembles a board game of some kind. Chinese checkers, maybe?
Chinese checkers. I'm kind of thinking Trivial Pursuit. Kind of like, it's kind of shaped that way, too.
It's a little Hellion poke in here, not really getting too much done. Link's trying to jump past for a scout, not able to get past him, though. Speed is going to finish here in a moment. Okay, yeah, thinking about it. You know, it's kind of funny, really. I'm trying to think about what goes through people's minds when they're playing on new maps at the beginning of a season, and one of them is the cheesy things and what cheesy things work on a map like this. That's a lot of Hellbats. Those queens are not surviving that if they try to fight those things head on. Going to get a couple worker kills now from all four of them. And here comes the Lynx to deal with that. The thing is, this choke point makes the Hellbats extremely well positioned. Some of the Lynx do get past, though, and the wall-off is not complete back home. There is... he's going to try and fix that as fast as he can. The Lynx are going to get there almost immediately. All they have to do, though, is really just focus on any of those buildings that are currently going up, and that wall is going to be out of there. In the meantime, we have a few queens trying to do something about these Hellbats at the front, but there's just so much HP on these units. Only now finally starting to blight them down. A few Hellions haven't come out just as the wall falls. But, so, LeGeND back here, holding without taking any damage. Whoa, SLeet losing the hatchery. So this is pretty much exactly what LeGeND would have wanted to accomplish, at least with this. I mean, if he doesn't manage to kill him with it, he's still fine. He can still move into a macro game from here. And SLeet will be pretty far behind.
Yep. He's actually getting a few 5 banelings out. He's going to go ahead and retake that third, push out with the lings, and see if he can just keep LeGeND at bay just to get his economy up and rolling. He had only lost about 4 workers out of that, so losing the base does hurt, but it could have been considerably worse.
Okay, losing the banelings on those things is probably... Well, actually, they killed a decent number of Hellbats right there. I mean, like, they were already injured, though, so it's like...
Yeah, they were already injured, plus there's these 13 Hellions that are here that could very easily just turn themselves into Hellbats and do this all over again.
Oh, man. Does he really have enough to even deal with this, unfortunately? A couple lings they're trying to come back. They're going to assault the Hellions from the back. Not even utilizing transformation servos. Noticing this right now.
I think it's because he sees that the banelings are on the map, and though the Hellbats can absorb quite a bit of that damage, the Hellions, with them not being counted as a biological unit, I think have a distinct advantage with that.
That's a good point. Something I've actually never seen or really had the chance to think about is whether or not that baneling damage actually applied that way to Hellbats. That is one of the weirdest things in this game. Like the fact that they can be healed when they're like that, the fact that and their properties entirely change when they transform.
Well, I just checked, and I was completely wrong. So the Hellions, being light units, actually take the bonus damage from the banelings the same as the Hellbats.
So it's not bio-based then.
It is not. It's just light.
Well,
but
okay,
we do
so
have a
he's
couple of mutas.
Yeah, he's just going for the maneuverability here. The mutas will force him to take this back home, though, or else he's basically throwing these Hellions away. What does he have back home? A couple Thors already up, missile turrets all over the place. This is a little bit of a difficult place to engage. There is some holes in the defense here, though, so we'll see if SLeet's able to sniff those out. Some damage. Thors are kind of like Archons when it comes to doing defense like this. It's like they're kind of slow. Yes, they do a lot of damage to the mutas, but the mutas will, if the person destroying them is good, as we know both of these players are, they'll never run into the Thors unless it's entirely on accident. Like they have to look away from the mutas for it to happen, really.
Yep, and we actually have high-sec auto-tracking coming out of LeGeND right now, so it looks like he's definitely trying to make the missile turrets even more potent against this mutaflock.
Actually a reasonable decision, I think, in this situation. Plus lets you get away with using a little bit less in the way of missile turrets to defend. That's
Definitely.
a couple more space. There's a little bit less of a hole. But yeah, he's going around the edge, trying to look for that space that he can utilize. LeGeND trying to take out the Overlord at the front. What's that? Interesting. Looks like he's just going to take out the supply depot here. He sees that upgrade. I don't know if he realizes that's... He probably thinks it's just a normal upgrade for bio, but...
One Thor's going to get picked off.
Oh, man. The thing is with the number of units that he has here... Whoa. He's going to need some seriously miracle situations here. Pretty much, if he can take out the Thors, then he could probably clean this up, but the thing is, even given that amount of time, this much DPS on the field, he'll probably lose at least his natural, in addition to the third.
Definitely, and these mutas are getting cleaned up by these Thors quite easily right now, so the mutas are not going to be able to kill off those Thors. The Hellbats are going to clean up all the queens, and he'll be able to just roll into the...
LeGeND gives him a smiley face. XD and GG.
Definitely.